Thank you, Doug. Well, good morning, everybody. I'd like to thank you for being here today. My name is John Attardo. I've been a member of Lifegate Church since 1996, about the time that I was introduced to Doug and my father-in-law. And that's about 18 years. That means I've been here at this church listening to about 936 different messages that have touched myself and my family's life. And there have been many times my wife and I would be having a conversation as we traveled from home to church here, and it's something that we'd be like talking about that have an effect on our lives. And wouldn't you know it, that the sermon that we were speaking today was about our life altogether. And it's quite a shock. And this didn't happen just once. It happened many times. And you're thinking to yourself, am I going to the right church? If I'm not, we were going to the right church. Definitely here. So that, we didn't know what the message was when we first got here, but when we heard it, we knew that we had to do something about it, and we changed our lives with these messages. And we try to do it with all the messages here, but it's sometimes hard, and I'm not this angel from heaven that can make these changes occur. But I try to employ as much as I possibly can in the message that we have today. But basically, I want to talk to you about this one scripture today that we're going to talk about. It's in Ephesians 5, 15, 21. And Galen, if you could put that up on the screen, please. I just want to read that to you now, so this way you get a gist of it, so it'll help with what the message is today. And Ephesians 5, 15, 21 says, "Be careful then how you live, not as unwise but wise. Make the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads us to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit. Speak to one another with psalms, hymns, songs from the Spirit. Make music from your heart to the Lord. Always give thanks to God the Father for everything, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Submit to one another out of the reverence of Christ." Now, during my early days here at Lifegate, there were many sermons that challenged me. And of those 936, quite a few did challenge me early on. I struggled internally with change, because change is a big thing in anybody's life. It's what makes or breaks you, I think. And the times that we had this, we thought that this was the right path to take on change. It affected me tremendously. And knowing what to do with some of these situations, I try to take the least path of resistance. And usually that's normal with human life, no matter who you are or what you're doing and what stage of life you are, be it a kid that's going to school, a student, a person that's starting off in the business world, in the middle of the business world, and married, whatever, with children, and even retired people too. I believe that this is the hardest thing to figure out. And when you find out what the outcome is, that's what makes it happen. So when you take that least bit of resistance, what happens is that you want to do that because there's fear involved. And the fear is what sets you back. The fear is what makes you take that least bit of resistance. And sometimes the outcome that you do when you take that least bit of resistance causes a problem. And the problem is that the situation that you thought was right was wrong because of that least path of resistance. And what I mean by that is if you just use man's way to make that change, what happens is the resistance is a man's way, so you're not really understanding how the path or the situation originally occurred. Sometimes when situations that I had, I'm just going to read this real quick to you, there was one that I made a mess on, and it's sort of correct. I sort of traveled down the wrong path, and in this situation I messed up, and I had to go back and fix that mess up and correct the original way that I was supposed to do it because of talking to people here in the church. I tried to do it, but the problem was that opportunity was not there anymore, and I missed the boat on that opportunity. So what happened was I didn't have that opportunity, and this is what today's message is: missing the boat on an opportunity. And this is what our message is today. And the sermon the scripture that we're using today is part of this sermon. And understanding change is critical in the development of your journey in life. Your growth stems from how you handle or deal with change. Change makes you uncomfortable. Change makes you think differently and takes you out of your comfort zone. This all activates the element of fear. Fear is the reason why we take the least path of resistance, and we miss the boat on great opportunities. Change equals fear of the unknown, and makes you look at fear in a different way. So let's take a look at this and see what fear really means. Let's look at the definition of fear. So the definition of fear is an emotion induced by threats perceived by living entities which cause a change in the brain or the organ functions and ultimately a change in behavior. So if we break down this definition, there's two points I want to look at here. First, I want to look at emotion. The second thing I want to look at is threat. So why do I want to look at emotion? Whenever we deal with anything that involves an emotion, we have this knee-jerk reaction. But we got to stop doing that. We can't do that. That's man's way of thinking things. We got to sit down and be rational here. If we do that and we take a God-fearing person, and what I mean by a God-fearing person, a person that's really devoted to Christ, that bases life on everything around him, you can make that decision a lot smoother and a lot easier, and fear will not be involved at all. So, if you do this outcome if you do this right, you won't be standing on the pier and watching your boat sail away with the opportunity. But if you do this knee-jerk reaction, you'll be standing on the pier and watching that boat sail away. So that's why I wanted to look at emotion first. Your spirit will grow with this opportunity, and we ought to look at that in that respect. Okay. The second thing I want to talk about is the threat. When we hear the word threat, there's nothing good about it at all. It's all negative. It's as if the change or the opportunity doesn't have a leg to stand on. You will have to use all your powers humanly possible to make that change. Now, the key word here is humanly possible. And if you do that, if you use your human instincts here, it's going to take everything you got, emotions, work, and ethic. You're going to be so drained that you have no opportunity at all to make this happen. But if you again seek godly counsel from people that bring your opportunity you bring that opportunity to God, it'll be a favorable response. So, looking at this threat, and you take it to the council and let them look at it and help you, guide you in the way that you want, you will be accessible to a path worthy to God that's in His eyes and a path that's worthy to you in your path of life. In my days of before Christ, my BC days, there were opportunities that came my way and I was not influenced by God at all. But what if I had some God-fearing people? What if I was able to have these people involved where I was able to get them involved in this situation? What if I did that? Where would I be today? What type of changes would have occurred in my life? Is that something that you have seen in your lives? Have you ever encountered things like this where you try to do it on your own and you did okay, but what happens if you had these God-fearing people inside you? What if that was part of the decision-making in your opportunities? What changes would you have seen? And this is what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about how we can find some opportunities that we can position ourselves in these opportunities, how we can position ourselves to make these opportunities come to us, and then break them down and see how we can take these opportunities and find out which ones are the best ones to use. So looking at the opportunities in our life, I've been trying to figure out how you can differentiate yourself in life, because there's so many things that you're doing as a student, in the workforce, as a parent, as a mother, as a father. There's so many things that go on. You get clustered in with a bunch of people. But as Christians, we have to differentiate ourselves. It's a prerogative. We need to do this because things today are not the best, and we want to make the best for our children. So what I came up with were some points that can differentiate yourself in life. The first one I got is integrity and honesty. In Proverbs 2:20 and 21, Galen, it says here, "For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it." Always make your decisions with integrity and honesty. This is very important in anything. We all have this in us, and as Christians, it's a differentiator for us. If you think about this integrity and honesty, wherever you're at in your career right now, be it in school or at work or whatever, you probably see people around you that are not doing this. And you say to yourself, why are these people moving up and I'm still in the same spot? Well, geez, don't deviate from this at all. I worked for a Fortune 50 company for now 11 years, and I've seen a lot of things. A lot of things have happened. People have deviated from this, and eventually it comes back to haunt them. And you don't want to be that person, trust me. But if you follow this first point right here, integrity and honesty, I guarantee you will see opportunities fall your way that you never dreamed of. Just because even though your boss or your teacher or your principal may not be a godly person, the cream will rise to the top. I promise you, the cream will rise to the top. and you will see things happen. This is a key point. The second one is very interesting too. Be available and humble yourself. We learned this the hard way. Back in 2006, let me read the scripture first. But Luke 14:9-11 says, "If so, the host who invites both of you will come and say to you, 'Give this person your seat.' Then, humiliated, you will have to take the least important place. But when you are invited, take the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he will say to you, 'Friend, move up to a better place.' Then you will be honored in the presence of all other guests. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and for all those who humble themselves will be exalted." Back in 2006, we bought a salon, and Angela's running it today as we speak. And we had, 5 or 6 people that were renting booths. And we were listening to man here. The man told us, "Oh, this one person's no good, you got to get rid of her, blah, 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 blah." So we did. We got rid of her. Ever since that time till, last year? Till last year, we've lost people. We've had all kinds of things happen that you would think being diligent in your walk in life, being faithful and doing all the things you're supposed to, why is this continually happening? Well, it's because of this. This person was not a problem at all. It was the person that we were listening to that was a problem. So we had man telling us what to do. So what I did was, I humbled myself and went back and said, "Find this person. I don't want to apologize to her." And we did, and we brought her back if she wanted to come back. And what happened was she was tearful and very, very happy to come back. And since that time, which was last year around August, September, and we were about to close the place down. That's how bad it was. We were just about to close it down. Since that time, I'm telling you, things have changed to now we're thinking of growing even further than what it is today. That's where we're at today. So I'm telling you guys, be available and humble yourself. It's hard. Don't get me to walk in front of a person that you fired and apologize and say sorry. It's not easy. It's not easy. But it works. It really, really works. And to take it further to another step, in my job, I had a situation where I was apprenticing for a position, and we were both. This one guy was applying for the same position I did. He got the position, and then I was asking for help, and he told me I had to figure it out. But then he needed help from me, and what did I do? I helped him. And eventually, because of all this stuff, now I'm in a position that's better than where he's at, and blah, 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 blah. But good things have happened. Good things have happened because of humbling yourself, okay? It's key. It's important, especially young in your career. Take care of this. Do this right away, because these 3 things, integrity, honesty, and humbling yourself, is rare. It's rare, like a gold coin that you found 2,000 years ago. If you can do this, young kids today, and people that are starting off in the business world or the work world, you will be head and shoulders above everybody else. I'm telling you. It's hard to find, believe it or not. It's very hard to find. The third thing is pray. John 14:13 says, "I will do whatever I ask in my name so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask for anything in my name and I will do it." Pray often. Pray whenever. Pray alone first. I do this all the time. I got a daughter that's 7 years old. I take her to school. We pray there together. And then I pray afterwards. I pray when I go to meetings. Especially in this new position, you're all by yourself. And you've got to have some force. Not a man's force, but a spiritual force. I pray all the time. It's crazy. And I just talk about the craziest things, but I'm praying. I'm having that connection. I really need that connection, because sometimes you get depressed, you lose a sale or whatever it is, and you get down, and you don't want to resort to exterior motives to fix you. You want to resort to the spiritual motive, and that's the key thing. Pray often and pray alone. The second thing is pray corporately. That's a key one too. And I do that a lot. Anytime I have an opportunity that crosses my way, I have God-fearing people that are involved. I got key people that I deal with. They know who I am, they know what I do, and they know exactly what my personality is. Get involved. This church has many people that are God-fearing people that think of you first in the Spirit of God and the path you're supposed to take than the path that you're supposed to take that man wants you to take. It's key. It's important. And this is important, I'm telling you today too, praying. And what you do with the prayer too is interesting. And when I pray with my daughter, she's 7 years old, and you sometimes say, well, what does a 7-year-old know about prayer? I don't know. These kids got some sort of connection, because every time she prays, things happen. Things happen crazily. So don't think a kid does not know how to pray, because this kid here listens to my mother-in-law and my wife, and she prays the exact same way as them, and change occurs quickly and often. So, it's very interesting. So if you got someone in your family that's young, use them. Use them in this respect. I don't think God will be upset. The fourth one is use your resources wisely. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. We have a lot of resources available at our hands today. We got the internet and everything else. But here at LifeGate, you've got our elders. You've got people in senior leadership. You've got life group. Kevin has a life group that's absolutely incredible. Things have changed. Things have happened in there. I suggest, if you need some help, go there. There's some awesome people there. You also have the church website that has every sermon that Pastor Delbert's ever spoken about, and also a special guest too. And the last thing I want to talk about is this service. We don't, when we come on Sundays, we think of it as service. We relax. We've had a long, hard week, and we just want to sit back and relax. But the service is set up for your success for that week coming up. And the way you take advantage of it is going to be the success that you have that week. And what I mean by this is it's structured strategically so you can make this happen. And what I mean by that is when we start off with praise and worship isn't here so we can enjoy Terry and his team. It's great. They're awesome people. They sing great, but it's for us. It's for us to recharge our batteries. It's for us to get the Spirit flowing again. We need to have that, especially in today's society. There's so many things that are attacking us through commercials and things like that. We need to have this happen. We need to have it real bad. Something that I think is very, very important. So when you're here and you're praising, you see these guys waving their hands and everything like that. They're not just waving their hands to show off. They're revitalizing themselves. They're filling their spirit up for the battle that's coming up for them. That's very important. So you've got that. Then you've got the sermon, similar to this one right here. Spend time thinking about the sermon, the notes. I'm telling you, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I speak in front of CEOs. I speak in front of chief of police, people that make 6-7 figures. Nothing is as difficult as this. And maybe it's because you're touching the souls of people and you want to make sure you provide the right answers here. This is the toughest thing, I tell you. Nothing's tougher than this. I told my wife this. But the sermons are important. If you do what we did back in, when we started here, and we continue to do this today, try and incorporate every sermon that comes out here. Because when Pastor Delbert's talking, he's not speaking. It's him that's connecting to Delbert. It's a voice from up there, I'm telling you. And to know what we're doing in the car is not him, it's him. So I'm telling you, take these sermons, don't take them to heart. Try and apply everyone in some way, shape, or form. It's hard. Change is hard. Change is not fun. Trust me. I'm 50 years old and I'm still changing. The new job I got so much work to do, but I know I have to walk this path. I can't give up. I got a family to feed. I got a daughter that's still growing up, and I got this church too that I got to be a part of, and I got to grow too. So that's important to me. That's what makes me function. Money's great. Money's the best thing in the world, but the reason why we try and move up to the next step is so we can give more to the kingdom. That's the key in life. If you think like that and you put that in the forefront, all this other stuff is going to come. I'm telling you, it's going to come, and you're going to say, whoa, why didn't I think of this when I was younger? So use your resources wisely. So please take into consideration the church setting. Not only that, but the last part of the church setting too, where you go for communion and you come up for prayer. I'm telling you guys, coming up for prayer and getting prayer here where the Spirit is being moved is critical. Don't feel ashamed coming up here. I come up here every time. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's the smallest thing. Get that small thing taken care of, because if you don't, it becomes bigger and it amplifies, and you have these outside forces coming in that you're trying to use to take care of. Don't do that. Come down here. These guys are incredible, and they'll listen. They'll even call you during the week and say, "How you doing? Is everything okay?" It's just to help you. You can't fight this battle by yourself. You need help. We all need help. I need help. We all need the body here to make us grow, and it's critical. It's critical. So, that's another thing too. So the Sunday sermon is just a big thing. Try not to miss it. Try to be here and try to take advantage of it. And the last thing is choose your friends wisely. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, Do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what you do righteously and the wickedness have in common, or what fellowship can light have with darkness? And 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Kids, This is important. You know, the parents drive you crazy about this, but I'm telling you, I've seen so many good kids get messed up because of friends. Please, don't get messed up. If you have a problem, come down here. If you don't want to talk to your parents, these guys will talk privately. They won't say nothing. They'll help you. They'll work with you. They'll do things that you wouldn't believe that can help guide you in the right direction. And especially in the work life, too. You got a lot of forces there that can really mislead you and bring you down the wrong path. Angela always asks, how come you don't have any friends? I said, look, there's no friends to have over here. I'm telling you, I don't want to bring anybody in this household. Now, here in the church is a different story, but at work, sometimes you don't want to have those people come over. They may look nice in front of you, but they got some cobwebs that you don't want to have in your house. So choose your friends wisely. So if you look at these 5 things, the key is to position yourself in a situation where opportunity flows your way no matter where you are in your walk in life. Apply these points will differentiate you and help you stand head and shoulders above everyone else. And I guarantee you, take these 5 points and use them, you're going to see opportunity flow your way like you've never seen them before. You've never seen them. There's stuff that's going to come your way and say, whoa, how did this happen? Another example, about 3 weeks ago, there was a position that opened up at Verizon, and I knew that this guy was supposed to take it, and I didn't even apply for it. And somebody told me, well, I was talking to this guy, I said, look, this position's awesome. If I could apply for it, I know what I could do with it, and I know I can make this happen. I said, I've never had an opportunity where I could have a base like this and then build from a base. I've always taken a position where there's nothing, and I had to start from scratch. So the guy said, well, elaborate a little more. Well, I told him a little more what I could do. Then he talked to the guy that runs that position, the associate director, and he called me. He goes, I hear you're interested. I said, yeah, but you want this guy. Well, talk to me a little more. Why do you like this? So I told him a little bit more. He goes, well, come down for the interview. I said, but you've already got this guy. Come down for the interview. So then I called my God-fearing person, talked to him. He gave me the lowdown. He said, whoa, okay, wait. What's so good about this position versus the position you have? I gave him a ton of things that this thing would do for me. He said, what are you going to lose if you leave this position? And I couldn't give him any answers. So we talked about it, we prayed about it, we did what we were supposed to do, walked through all these points like we just discussed. And then all of a sudden, I had the interview, and that night he gave me the offer. So now, let's sit down and think about this. An opportunity crossed my path. I wasn't going to take it. I was going to let it go by me. But because I seek counsel, not man, I seek counsel, talked about it, prayed about it, had the interview, we got the position. And it's a good position. It's a position that, it's a lot of work, but like I said, I'm in front of chief of police's, CEOs that make 6 to 8 figures, things that I never thought I'd be at today. But taking this and using this, you can apply it. And like 3 months ago, I was looking at moving away from Verizon because of some things that were happening. But again, seeking counsel, talking about it, praying about it, looking at it, asking God, hey, is this the place I'm supposed to be? If it is, tell me why. And then this thing comes right across my path, and I wasn't going to take it because I thought it wasn't for me in man's eyes, and it was for me in God's eyes. So please, use these 5 points to the best of your ability. I'm not just throwing this in here just to create 40 minutes of talk. It's really working. It's working in my life. And I wish I started when I was 20, 24, 25. I'm just thinking about this now. Where would I be today if I started this early? So please, when you're young too, you really don't have anything to lose because you're just by yourself. If you do fail, hey, it's no biggie. It's no biggie at all. And I got a quote that I'm going to talk to you in a few minutes, but I got a quote that I want to rehearse to you or say to you in a few minutes that's really interesting. But let's continue on here. So how do we identify good opportunity? Like this particular one here that was about to walk past me. Usually an opportunity is very unpleasant. Usually an opportunity has fear. Usually an opportunity is going to make you change. It's going to take you out of a position that you're not comfortable in. And that's good. That's really good because it's going to open you up to things that you never dreamed of. It's going to open you up and say, man, can I do this? Yeah, you can. When you've got the body in front of you praying for you and doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, I'm telling you, you can conquer, you become a superhero. You can do whatever you want. And it's true, you can do whatever you want. It's up to you. Sometimes we get, I talk about my 7-year-old, the innocence. She'll do anything and everything, and she's got a mind that's open to anything. And I wish we could keep that at the age of 50 because they're not fearful of anything. I'm not saying to jump off a cliff, but they're willing to do anything and play with anything. We get some sort of electronic device and we say, whoa, how do we do this? What are we going to do? Where's the paperwork? How do we do this? She grabs and starts playing with it and she knows what to do. I wish we all had that. I wish we could keep that. That's something that man, I think, takes away from us as we're growing up and puts fear. Don't do this and then don't do that. And they're pulling you from this and they're telling you this. It's crazy. If we just take that innocence and try and keep it, I think we'd be a better society today. So how do you know when you have a great opportunity? The opportunity is going to require change, a magnitude of change that you may have to learn more knowledge, like this new position. I got to learn like crazy. It's going to open my character up to different situations. And there's 5 things that I do. There's 5 things that I do here that I try and find the best opportunity. And the first thing I do, and I talked about it already, is seeking counsel. I do this every time with any opportunity that crosses my path, no matter how small or how big it is. I do this all the time. Seek whoever that person is, who that confidant that you know is God-fearing, that is going to look out for you in the Spirit. Seek that person. Talk to that person. I guarantee you're going to do good with this opportunity if it's a good opportunity. Then, of course, discuss with your immediate family. That's key. We always discuss everything, and now we've got this 7-year-old, and she sits in and puts her 2 cents in too. We listen, because we never know. Because she may be talking about God when she talks. Who knows? So we listen. The second one is corporate prayer, and I discussed that. I come down here all the time for prayer, and I take advantages wherever I am. Even if I'm on top of a camera helping out in the back there, I'll still come down and come for prayer. So whatever you're doing, please take advantage of that, as well as the life group. That's huge. That's very huge. And then I, of course, pray secretly with myself, alone, wherever I can, whenever I can. I do that often and frequently, and I told you that already. And the 5th point is give tithe and alms. This one I haven't discussed yet. This one here is important. And why is it important? Not because Delbert's talking to me. He doesn't even know what this sermon's about. The reason why tithe and alms is so important is it's a heart thing, okay? And what I mean by that is, if you give with your heart, I'm telling you, the treasures will flow. If you give because you're supposed to give, don't do that. Don't even do it. But if you're giving because you know in your heart that this is a good thing, and you know that you want to change lives and you want to help others, do it. And you'll see the treasures flow. We do this all the time. We've been doing this now for 18 years. Some of you guys have been doing it way more than I have. I applaud you. I wish I did it before my BC days, which I didn't. And, I did okay there, but I could have done better. I did okay, but I could have done better because I didn't have God-fearing people. I didn't have the regiment that I do today. Where would I be today? Who knows? But tithe and alms is huge. We do this all the time and often. We're even teaching our 7-year-old today, and she has a little difficulty with it right now, but she's learning why you do this and how you do it and what the reason is for doing it. So start them early, and they'll benefit from it. So tithe and alms is a huge thing for me too. So by following these points, these good choices are going to come your way. The type of opportunities will make you grow and use the talents given to you by God. It is here that you will need to seek counsel and get a better understanding of the opportunities so you don't miss out on what God has to offer. Missing the boat is not missing. You're missing the boat. Missing the boat is missing an opportunity that God has for you so you live an abundant life. And what we mean by an abundant life is a life that's filled with all kinds of joy and everything that you can imagine. Christians are not supposed to live poor. They're supposed to live in the riches that God has to offer them. We all have a path that's filled with riches. These opportunities flow. Take these 5 points. Take the other 5 that I discussed. Use them. Try it. Just try it. Like that commercial. Try it. Mikey liked it. You try it. I'm telling you, you're gonna see some changes. You're gonna see some changes. And then with these 5 points, when I use them, the fear just escapes me. The fear is no longer there. It's gone. It's actually taken over by the Spirit. The Spirit comes in and it puts you at peace. It puts you in a relaxed state where you can make a rational decision now. That knee-jerk reaction is not going to happen now. It's going to be a decision that's based on God, based on the Spirit, based on the path that He has set for you, based on a path that's going to bring you that abundant life. And it's not going to be overnight. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't happen quickly. Like my life is a little different than some of you. I've come from Canada. And, when I sat down at the table in Canada back in 1998, 99 with Lance Young, Delbert's son, we made a decision to move from Canada here for this church. Not for money, not for fame, not for glory, but for this church and start the youth. That was the key for why we came down here. And, looking back on it and what we did, I just wonder how in the heck we did it. But it was the Spirit that did it. It was a Spirit. There was forces there that, today we know what it is. But back then I know Angela probably knew about it, but back then I knew that it wasn't man, it was all the Spirit. But man, oh man, some of the things that happened to make us get down here. And then the path wasn't smooth like anybody else's path in life. There's roads, there's cliffs, there's potholes, there's things that are going to happen. But you guys stick on that road. Stick on that road. Just take those 5 points that I said of integrity and honesty and humble yourself. Pray like crazy. Be available to people. Take those points. Take them to the utmost. I guarantee you're going to see success in your life. And the reward may not be financial. It may be something good in your family life. It may be some good changes in your family life, changes that you never thought that you would see. It's amazing what we've had happen in our life. And like I said, in the career here in the U.S. has been blessed with many, many opportunities that have crossed our way. I'm not one to brag, but there's so many things that have happened in our life. I just can't explain it, but know that the Spirit's involved. These opportunities have flowed so fast and so frequent that we made changes. And like I said, 50 years old, I'm still learning. And that's the thing too. When you have the heart open, you're willing to learn no matter what it is. Not because you have to make this money, not because you're doing it for my daughter or whatever. You're doing it for the kingdom. And when you do that, man, things just come your way. And it's not just that the opportunity is there and it's available for you, but when you get inside that opportunity, then other things start to happen. Like, it's amazing. Like with this job here, now I'm hearing about these other things that I may be able to do that I didn't even think about. And there's so many things that are going to flow. It's going to take work, but that's okay. That's okay. Well, that's what we're here for, to do things. Now, like I said, back in Canada, I didn't have this counsel. I didn't have God-fearing people. I didn't have any of that stuff. I just did it on my own. I used man. Did I get by? Yeah, I got by. But what if I had that? What if I used that? What if I took that, what I just talked about, and applied it? Where would I be today? How much more success did I have? Did I miss the boat on opportunities? Oh, definitely. I missed a ton of opportunities there. Do I regret it? No, because I'm here today, and I'm doing things that I'm aspiring to. And we talked about this a couple of days ago. With the position today, we're probably in a better place today than we were back in Canada. And that's cool. That's really cool. What was key and critical in Canada too was there was a couple of things that hampered my ability, and it's a mindset. Really hampered my ability to really think about opportunities. And what I mean by mindset is when you have that change in your heart, your mind changes too. Your mind starts to think differently. You don't think like man anymore. You think like a Christian thinks. I'm not saying you got to think like a freak. No, you're going to think differently. You're going to see situations come about and you say, oh, okay, let's look at it this way instead of looking at it that way. And this sermon is a perfect testament as to the change in thinking that I have today. Because no way was I thinking like this back in my BC days. I was 100% money and career, and that was it. There was nothing else there. Everything else fell by the wayside. So that's not good. Today I got a balance, a better balance. My wife thinks I should do a little bit more, but I got a better balance. But the change in mindset is important. The change in mindset, and that's what these sermons, these 936 sermons have done for me to date. It's changed my mindset. It's given me the ability to see these opportunities in a spiritual sense, guided by God-fearing people, allowing me to make the changes that need to be made in my life so I can live to the utmost. And not just for me, but when you got children and family that you have to support, you want to do this so you can leave a legacy. If you set this up today for yourself, just think of where your children and where all those other people will be because you've created the base. Just like I said with this new job, I've got a base. And what I mean by base is there's already opportunity there. I just got to add. And that's something that you never see. You usually take a position, either the store is a mess or the territory is in shambles and you got to start from scratch and beg people to just get an interview or a meeting. Here, I've got an opportunity. And like I said, if you just follow these regimens, you're going to make it in life. So in closing, by differentiating yourself, the opportunity will begin to cross your path. Instead of you standing on the pier and watching the boat sail you by, you will be on the boat sailing down the road God has set for you. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's critical, guys. This is, if you look at this sermon, and I wrote it, I wanted to write something else, but this touched my heart. And how it touched my heart is because of what had happened to me since I've been here. I'm an immigrant. You guys are Americans. You guys live here. You're transplanted. We always say, why do these immigrants come here and they take over? Because they see opportunity. There's opportunity in this country, guys. Don't listen to the papers. Don't listen to the government. You can grab hold of this opportunity. We got people that are coming over from other countries that don't even speak the language, and they're still making things happen. Just think, with the intelligence you have, with the training that you've got here in this country, you can grab the bull by the horns and tackle anything. Take these opportunities. Make it happen. As Christians, we belong up there. We belong at the top. We belong where everybody at. And I'd like to see some of you guys make 6, 7 figures. I applaud all of you. If you guys need any type of support at all, I'm available. I got a cell phone that's always attached to me. I got an email address too that you can get from anybody around here. But I appreciate the time today, guys. I really do. The one quote I wanted to leave with you is from a superstar. And I'm not going to give you the name until I finish reading it, but he says here, I've missed 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted the last shot or game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I'm successful. You know who said that? Michael Jordan. I think most of us know who Michael Jordan is. Some of us young people probably don't, but Michael Jordan was the best basketball player in the 80s and 90s. Today he owns the Charlotte Hornets. He's a co-owner of the Charlotte Hornets, and he's been very successful. I just use this example because looking at how many times opportunity crossed his path and he failed, he still worked hard at his craft. He honed in on the craft and made himself probably the best player in the 80s and 90s, and probably till this day. Some of the shots he's done, some of the things he's done, even in situations where he's had a temperature of 104 and he had the winning shot and won the game and the championship for a team, he didn't let fear get in his way. He didn't let change get in his way. He had something going on. I'm pretty sure if you sit down and talk to this guy, there's something God-fearing in his life. And one last quote, I have to put a hockey player in here too, Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of your shots you don't take. So think about this. 100% of the opportunities that come your way, if you don't take them, you're missing out on it. It's a cool statement. And I just want to leave you with those two things. But I thank you for your time. And please, look at these opportunities in life. See how you can tackle them. I just think this is a really, really important message to take. And if you guys have questions, I'm hoping I can come by Wednesday and be at the life group with Kevin so we can discuss this more. I think it's important. So if anybody wants to dig a little deeper into this, please, we'll be there. I'm going to try. We'll bring Josie. That's okay. For one night, it'll be good. And we'll just try and see how that works. But I'm going to try and make it to life group on Wednesday. Let's pray.